Kain na, be. Kain na, be. Si Mama. Teka lang, isa ba? May duck ulit. Yun. We're at Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Order. How many? Come on. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 lemonade. Make that just another water. Ladies, come here. Please.
A bunch of other boats out here today. They're not just tour boats. We got a bunch of curvy sidewalks, not a lot of guardrails on them out here. And we get really close to some of the walls, some of the bridges are very low. So I just need to ask everyone to stay. This is where our entire city started, where we just started our cruise.
Cool.
Cool as that? And the River Theater, like I said, a lot of cool shows. We film our river parades in there all year round. How many of you have seen the movie Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock? The bikini model contest scene in that movie was filmed out of that theater there. River Walk.
There you go. Some nice.
This is my personal favorite spot to visit here on the Riverwalk, the Morisco. This is a Western art museum. There's artifacts in here you can't find anywhere else in the world when it comes to our history and the Republic of Texas. You should know there are 5 other states that ran time as their own nation. But Texas is the only one that had to fight to secede another union to gain the independence for the the Revolution. No other state can claim that. And there's a lot of nations around the world that can't claim the same either. Down on the right here, there's an island in the river we call Marriage Island. We host about 300 weddings on the Riverwalk every year, ceremonies. 500-year-old cypress tree. We just call it Marriage Island. On the other side of the bridge, right over there, Divorce Island. No, we don't have a divorce island. People would be shoving each other in the river, left and right on one of those. Of it, the first and the second tier rooftop. And down here on the street level, you see faces they built into the walls right here by the windows. These are called grotesques. They ward off bad luck and evil spirits and then protect everything in the building from the top to the bottom. Smith and Young were business owners from New York City. They wanted to bring some New York down to Texas when they built this one. We didn't have any buildings this tall in Texas until they built this one. We didn't have any buildings and gargoyles on them like that either. But in New York, there was a building that stood out from the rest. It was nicknamed nationwide the tallest on the east. It was the tallest building standing east side of Mississippi. So Smith and Young eventually built us the tallest on the west with their time spent in Texas. This held the title for 9 years, y'all. It's only 400 feet. It didn't hold that title forever. Tallest on the west. But it did hold the title as the tallest building in Texas for 30 years. We're heading down to the main channel of the river now, so
There we go.
I want you guys to look down south about 2 blocks. You'll see a drop in the water level back there. There's a 20-foot waterfall in that spot. It's where we get rid of the weak boat captain. It's a floater about 4 miles up north where the water comes from. You see today, and that's where the river stays throughout the whole year. We have not experienced a flood from this river since 1921, y'all. It's been over 100 years now. That's ever since. Over here, there's an entrance to the river from the main plaza of the city. Never get a chance to experience visiting when they come here, because nobody ever seems to bring this stuff up. Although they've been or are going to the Alamo, where the then fathers gave their lives, had to make some very serious sacrifices to make Texas what it is today. And we get 35 million people coming to San Antonio as visitors every year. 10% are walking down this road. Because nobody ever brings this up, or anybody as they come here. So everybody that I meet gets to learn this to hopefully even those numbers out someday. You know, like I said, they had to give everything they had to make Texas what it is today. They definitely deserve it for everybody coming here to know exactly where to find them. So I hope you guys might have some extra time to maybe stroll in and pay a little bit of respect. You know, visiting a 300-year-old piece of history that we have to offer, it's a gorgeous piece of our history to get into that cathedral. But paying some respects when you walk in the front door, it ain't hard to do. They're right there. The bells you hear ringing are the St. Mary's Church. On the left up there, this is St. Mary's Street. Now you know what it's named after. That church opened up back in the 1850s. The flood that I told you guys about, this church was exactly 70 years old, and it was completely destroyed from that flood. This road, St. Mary's, was one of the roads recorded 9 feet deep. Some others were 10 feet. But this church was completely deemed unrepairable when it was destroyed by that flood. So they had to basically scale the whole thing out and rebuild it from the ground up. Rooftop, very tall, very thin.
Wow! Ay, wow.
1930, that was the Knicks Hospital.
Wow. Amazing.
This became the first hospital to
Wow.
have its own air conditioning system. Over here we got the Hyatt Regency Hotel. This one has been known for the Riverwalk going through it for 45 years. You follow the river through the building, it'll guide you up to the Alamo. It's across the street on the other side. It's open every day till about 5:30. All the Alamo is free to the public to visit. Open for anybody. Now, being born and raised here in San Antonio, I've had a really hard time convincing anybody to do something like this and bring a restaurant or any business down to the Riverwalk. It took the man 20 years to get this idea, this project brought to life. If you remember that flood I told you about, you'd understand what people were feeling out here. They didn't think that this was going to be possible. This building right here was 30 years old when the flood destroyed up. This is not part of Robert Hogan's design of the Riverwalk either. His public park, the Riverwalk, it was 13 miles built on the natural banks of the river. Today the Riverwalk's over 15 miles long, so there's a few things been added to it since then. Take a look above the Market Street up here, you're going to see the Tower of the Americas down here. The centerpiece of the World's Fair is this 750-foot tower in our city.
What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's up, Nick? Raise your hand if you were calling that the Space Needle all day. That's how you're not the first. It's okay. We won't hold it. There's a steakhouse at the top of it. It's called the Chart House, and it rotates, y'all. Inside the tower, the steakhouse spins all day. And it will spin faster and faster. Americas. I want you to look at all these tiny little details and find how many of these features you think will reach over 1,000 years into the past. Natural stones. So this one has 12 different colored stones. Now the artist actually traveled almost 3 years collecting stones to use for his mosaics. This one has 12 of the colors he chose. 11 of them were found in Mexico for this one, and there's a 12th one that we found in Italy. It's a blue stone that you're going to see across the entire mural. Oh my goodness. Look at this tiny little turtle hanging out on that stick right there. Tiny little guy. You see him? He's like this big. The bedrooms were built 8 miles away in a warehouse where concrete was used to mold each room individually into boxes, and they built 16 bedrooms a day in a warehouse. Then they moved the rooms, they put everything inside of them, plumbing in the bathrooms, furnishings, all the electronics, set the rooms up ready for
Tramuros. Oh, basang sisiw.
Di tayo nakaganto tayo.